بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are continuing with our discussion and our studies on التعبير القرآني by Dr. Fadil Saleh Samir Ra'i. We are currently on chapter number 2 and we have been discussing بنية is it بنية الكلمة or basically the structure of words. And he started with the discussion on فعل, the difference between فعل and اسم, how the فعل and the اسم is used, right? And so we will continue. Let me just fix something. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and then reshare because I need to fix something. All right. Okay. So again, he has given quite a number of examples from different places in the Quran. And we are still in that particular context of the difference between Jumla Fi'aliyah and Jumla Ismiyah and what the context dictate. So we'll continue from there. If there's anybody who wants to participate, please unmute yourself and we can read. Yes, Fahima.
Sister Nam, which page is it? I'm so sorry. Might be missing. It's page number
This is
32,
page
right?
31. 31, we're going to start from paragraph this Fandur.
Should I start?
Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فانظر كيف ذكر أنه يرفع العذاب عنهم باستغفارهم ولو لم يكن وصفا ثابتا فيهم وأنه لا يهلكهم إلا إذا كان ظلموا وصفا ثابتا
الظلم.
فيهم يهلكهم إلا إذا كان ظلموا
ظلم.
أوكي كان ظلم سوري ظلموا 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 right ظلموا
Yes,
كان
ظلم.
وصفا ثابتا فيهم فإنه جاء بالاستغفار بالصيغة الفعلية يستغفرون وجاء بالظلم الصيغة الاسمية ظالمون فانظر إلى رحمة الله سبحانه وتعالى بخلقه Should I continue?
Let's see what else. Yeah, you can continue. We can finish this.
Okay. ومن ذلك قوله قوله ومن ذلك قوله تعالى في وصف المنافقين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شيطانهم قالوا إنا مع شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون. Should I go for the next paragraph?
Yes, let's finish the page.
فقد فرق بين قولهم للمؤمنين وقولهم لأصحابهم. فقد let me see this. فقد قاتبوا المؤمنين فقد قاتبوا المؤمنين بالجملة الفعلية فعلية الدلالة على فعلية الدلالة على الحدوث
الفعلية الدالة not الدلالة.
Oh, so sorry.
Two different words. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. دالة على الحدوث. This is حدوثي, right? آمنا.
Yes.
وقاتبوا وخاطبوا جماعتهم بالجملة الاسمية المؤكدة
كذا
أما كده مؤكدة
أكد
right
مؤكدة
هي مؤكدة no
yes مؤكدة
مؤكدة بالجملة الاسمية المؤكدة الدالة دالة على ثبوت والدوام
ثبوتي
ثبوت والدوام
yes
إن معكم ولم يسوي بينهما فلم يقولوا إنا مؤمنون كما قالوا let me check. Should I continue this one?
just we'll
إنا
end
معكم
yeah we'll end there yeah
Okay.
because the next paragraph is a quote from a book Al-Kashaf by Zamakhshari and it's a very difficult book so we'll stop there إن معكم okay great so let's read through this passage so he says فانظر كيف ذكر أنه يرفع العذاب عنهم باستغفارهم ولو لم يكن وصفا ثابتا فيهم okay. وأنه لا يهلكهم إلا إذا كان الظلم وصفا ثابتا فيهم فإنه جاء بالاستغفار بالصيغة الفعلية يستغفرون وجاء بالظلم الصيغة الإسمية ظالمون فانظر إلى رحمة الله سبحانه وتعالى بخلقه ومن ذلك قوله تعالى في وصف المنافقين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون فقد فرق بين قولهم للمؤمنين وقولهم لأصحابهم فقد خاطبوا المؤمنين بالجملة الفعلية الدالة على الحدوث فقد خاطبوا المؤمنين بالجملة الفعلية الدالة على الحدوث آمنا وخاطبوا جماعتهم بالجملة الإسمية المؤكدة الدالة على الثبوت والدوام إنا معكم ولم يسوي بينهما فلم يقولوا إنا مؤمنون كما قالوا إنا معكم. So what is Dr. Fadil saying here? He's giving an example. He's saying, first of all, okay, the previous one, before we go to the next ayah, the next example, he said, so look at how he mentioned that he will lift the adab from them because of their istighfar. Because of the istighfar, Allah will lift the adab. Even though the istighfar is not a permanent attribute upon them. It's not mustaghfirin. It's not mustaghfirun. It's not Allah is not saying in the ayah that they were mustaghfirun. It's a permanent attribute. They're constantly seeking. When you declare somebody is a repenter, that means it's a permanent attribute in them. Allah is not saying that they have this permanent attribute of istighfar. No, He's just saying as long as they keep on doing it. So Dr. Fadil is saying Allah lifted the punishment from them, even though this for the purpose because of their forgiveness, because of their seeking forgiveness, even though seeking forgiveness is not a permanent attribute for them. Whereas when it came to dhulm, when it came to oppression and wrongdoing, Allah ensured that the dhulm was a permanent attribute to demand what is it called, destruction, to demand annihilation, ihlak. For them to be destroyed, the dhulm had to be a permanent attribute. It's not that they did wrong once in their life and then they didn't do it again, or maybe here and there they did oppression here and there. No, it was a permanent attribute in them. The dhulm was a permanent attribute, and that permanent attribute is what necessitated destruction. Okay? Whereas for the believers, the punishment was lifted for just mere doing istighfar, even though istighfar was not a permanent attribute for them. So he's saying that's why, he used the form yastaghfirun, which is a fi'l, which is something that has to do with it's not a permanent attribute. Whereas for dhulm, they used the ظالمون, the isim form, which is a permanent attribute. And therefore he calls you, he says, فانظر إلى رحمة الله سبحانه وتعالى بخلقه. Therefore look at the mercy of Allah upon his creation. How merciful is Allah upon his creation, that for as long as you keep doing istighfar, even though you're not, istighfar is not a part of you. Even though, I mean, how many of us wake up every day and we're like doing istighfar? The Prophet ﷺ used to do istighfar 70 to 100 times every single day. We have more sins than him, and yet we don't do as much. Subhanallah. How much merciful is Allah upon us? For as long as and it's not everyone has to do istighfar. Maybe somebody somewhere is doing istighfar on our behalf, and because of them, we're not being destroyed. Subhanallah. How merciful is Allah? But for as long as dhulm is an established permanent attribute in a person, then that necessitates destruction. All right? Subhanallah. Yeah, exactly. So that is that paragraph where he's comparing istighfar with dhulm, and why istighfar has been used in the mudara, in the fi'al version, and dhulm has been used in the isim version, ظالمون. And then again, he goes on to give yet another example. So far we've seen so many, but he gives another one to prove his point further. ومن ذلك قوله تعالى في وصف المنافقين. And there's an example in the Quran where Allah describes the hypocrites. In Surah Al-Baqarah, the munafiqun, when they're talking to believers, they say, قالوا آمنا. We believed. They use the verb. Like, we already believed, come on. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ. And when they go back to their devils, their companions, the people that actually, they share the same belief with, they say, قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ. إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ. جملة اسمية. They're like, we are permanently with you. What are you talking about? إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ. Again, another ism. We are jokers. When it comes to them, we're just jokers. Yeah, we were mocking about. We were just making fun. Like, do you actually think we're with them? Oh, we didn't. You actually think we believed? No, we don't believe we're with you. So when it came to them speaking to the believers, they used the fi'al, amanna. But when it came to them speaking to their companions and the devils and the people that are hypocrites like them, the people of kufr, they said, we are with you. They used the ism, the jumla ismiya, to show how permanently affiliated they are with this belief. But as for belief, it's temporary. They use the verb, right? So وخاطبوا جماعتهم بالجملة الإسمية المؤكدة, the stressed version of it. That's what they used when they were talking to their own companions. But when it came to talking to the believers, they used the jumla fi'liya, amanna, which has to do with renewal and regeneration. So they didn't renew. In other words, they may have believed, but they didn't renew their iman. And as a result, they ended up in kufr. They ended up in disbelief, and they were so entrenched in their disbelief that when they were talking to their companions of disbelief, they said, what? Inna ma'akum. No, we're with you. Come on. We're with you. You're our people, not them, not the believers. That's how entrenched they were in their kufr. And Allah captures that by using jumla ismiya with their devils, and using jumla fi'liya with the believers. All right? So he's saying, وَلَمْ يُسَوِّي بَيْنَهُمَا. He did not make them the same. He did not use both jumla fi'liya. He did not say, for example, وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا how would he have said this? إنا مؤمنون. He did not say here, for example, آمنا. Instead of saying آمنا, he did not say إنا مؤمنون, just like the way they said it, إنا معكم. No, there's a difference. There's a difference. So that's what Dr. Fadil is saying. Any questions on the meaning? Is that clear? What he's trying to say here? Yes. Alhamdulillah. As long as you understand it, as long as we all get it, alhamdulillah. Yeah. It takes time. I can't claim that I understand, everything, but it takes time. It's like the first time when we read this book, we didn't understand anything. Then you read the second time, then you started to see, okay, this is mubtada, khabar, whatnot. And then you started putting things together. And the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time. And maybe, who knows, one day you read this and it will flow. It takes practice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the language is really beautiful. Fantastic. All right, let's look at the grammar then. Let's go back up. What's happening? Okay. Okay, فانظر. Okay, so فانظر فحرف عطف. انظر إذا جملة فعلية sorry إذا فعل أمر. Yes. You wanna do the إعراب? فهي؟
I'm not that sure, Sis Ilham, but I just
Okay.
somehow muted the Arab, but I cannot go as clear as you.
Okay, no problem. It's fine. I'll do it, no problem. He refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where?
فلم يسوي بينهما يسوي.
Yes. Yes, here he refers to Allah. Like when Allah said,
Okay.
yeah, this first part, he did not equate this part and this part. Yeah, he's talking about Allah. Yes.
And then the فلم يقولوا, they are saying,
Mhm.
right?
Sorry?
Okay. فلم يقولوا, they are saying the munafiqun are
Hypocrites.
saying, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this goes back to the
Okay.
hypocrites. They did not say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So انظر فعل أمر. The فاعل is the infinite pronoun أنت. And then whatever comes after it is going to be our مفعول به. انظر ماذا? انظر this. So that's going to be our مفعول به, the whole sentence from there. And then you enter inside that مفعول به. What do you have? You have a جملة فعلية. And this جملة فعلية starts with اسم استفهام. Starts with a question word كيف. And we've already discussed this كيف before. And we've said that this كيف is مفعول حال. Okay, so المفعول حال of what? مفعول حال of ذكر. So our فعل is ذكر, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو, and then ذكر ماذا. So this again أنه, this whole part is going to be our مفعول به. Okay, مفعول به of ذكر. أنه يرفع العذاب عنهم باستغفارهم ولو لم يكن وصفا ثابتا فيهم. I'm trying to figure out where the مفعول به ends. I think we can just stop here. There's no need to make it complicated. Yeah, we can say that the مفعول به ends there. ذكر أنه يرفع العذاب عنهم باستغفارهم. Okay, so he mentioned this. This is our مفعول به. So this whole whatever is in the bracket, this is going to be our مفعول به في محل نصب of ذكر, and inside it we have جملة اسمية أنه. أن plus its اسم is going to be our مبتدا, right? أنه يرفع العذاب. Again, يرفع العذاب جملة فعلية. This is going to be the خبر of أن. Yeah. And then يرفع is a فعل مضارع, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو that goes back to this who. And then يرفع ماذا? He lifts what? He lifts العذاب. So this is our مفعول به of يرفع. عنهم متعلق بالفعل which is يرفع, متعلق بيرفع. باستغفارهم, this باء is باء السببية, or is also called باء التعليلية, باء of because, right? Because of their istighfar. So one thing we need to remember is that حروف الجر, we didn't cover a lot in بينة as far as harfs are concerned. Like the huruf part of it, I think we didn't do. Like there's a chapter in the textbook called huruf, but it's very basic. But what you need to know is that almost every harf has different meanings. So when we talk about huruf al-jar, min, there's I think like I don't know 5 different kinds of min with different meanings. It is still a harf of jar. It will still make it majroor, whatever comes after it. But what is it? Is it min tabi'idiyya? Is it min bayaniyya? Is it what kind of min is it? You know, is it min ibtida'iyya? What kind of, right? Same thing with ba. So you have ba is harf of jar. It's still gonna beat up on whatever comes after it. But what kind of ba is it? You know, so there's different kinds of ba. There's a ba that means fi. There's a ba that means ala. There's a ba, you know, so there's different kinds of ba. But here, the ba means because of their istighfar, and of course jar majroor together is going to be a muta'alliq bil fi'l number 2 of course yarfa'u. Yeah. So we can say that sentence ends there. Unless there's any question, we can continue. And then we have وَلَوْ لَمْ يَكُنْ وَصْفًا ثَابِتًا فِيهِمْ. Okay, so wow, we can say wow harf atuf connecting this part to the previous part. And then you have this law. What do you guys think law is?
شرطية.
Yes, normally it is shartiya, but there are actually 2 kinds of law. Let's see what somebody, harf shart, yes. Yeah, so law, normally, we looked at this in adatu shart, and it is harf shart or adatu shart, but there are 2 kinds of law. There's the law that is shartiya, and then there's also a law that is called tamanni. Tamanni is wishful thinking. It's like wishing something. Yeah? Wishing for something. So sometimes law can be used for wishing for something. How do we differentiate between the 2? It's very simple. I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm not going to go into the details. But law shartiya, what does that tell you? It means it has to have a shart part and a jawab part. That's what law shartiya has to do. So if you look at a sentence and you see a shart part and a jawab part and there's a law in it, that law is going to be law shartiya. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But if you see a law sentence and there's no jawab in that sentence, then most likely this law is tamanni. Of course, some grammarians would say this is still law shartiya and the jawab is mahdoof. The jawab is hidden. All right? But most likely that law is law at-tamanni, law of wishing. It does not come with a jawab. So when you look at this sentence, do you see a jawab? You don't see a jawab because it says وَلَوْ لَمْ يَكُنْ وَصْفًا ثَابِتًا فِيهِمْ, and even if it wasn't a permanent attribute in them, what? The jawab is not there. No, he's actually just saying even if the attribute was not a permanent thing for them, the istighfar wasn't a permanent thing for them. That's what he's saying. It's like he's wishing that istighfar was a permanent attribute for them, but it is not. It is not a permanent attribute for them. So you can see the difference between law shartiya and law at-tamanni. Yeah. If only, you can consider this like if only istighfar was a permanent attribute for them. That would be law tamanni. All right. So if I don't know if that is clear, or do I need to give you another more examples? Let's see here. If I, oh, what is happening? Okay, let's look at an English example here. If I knew Arabic well, that's my shart part, I will be happy. Don't know why it is doing this. The orientation is a bit off. Okay. If I knew Arabic well, I would be happy. So you have the short part, this first part. And you have, or had I known, actually, let's properly, we can translate as Lao is had I. Oh, let's keep if. If is, it will be better to distinguish. And then you have another sentence. If only I knew Arabic. Full stop. There's no jawab in this. I'm not saying if only I knew Arabic, something. I'm just saying if only I knew Arabic, or how I wish I knew Arabic. So I'm using law to wish for something. All right. So those are the kind of law that are there. Okay.
Mr. Ilham, this law will have a jawab shart with lam, right? Starting with the lam. Lawla, law and la. So yes,
لو
please.
is one أداة الشرط. لولا is another أداة الشرط.
No, when law comes, then in shart will get la, right? Starts on
Oh yes,
had it not,
yes.
surely it would have been. So if you don't find that sort of, if in case we don't get the context as well, because most of the time I don't get it, the context, the way you get it. So if you don't find usually the lam, then we can predict it as a wishful thinking law tamanni.
Yes, or it could be jawab mahduf, or the jawab of it is hidden because it's understood. Like for example, in this case, if I'm to assume that the jawab is mahduf, ولو لم يكن وصفا ثابتة فيهم, لا, and even if it wasn't a permanent attribute for them, he wouldn't have destroyed them, or something like that.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Yeah, but it makes more sense as tamanni, as wishful thinking. So those are the two ways of looking at something. So some grammarians have said there's only one kind of law shartiya, and if there's no jawab for it, then the jawab is mahduf, because you can easily make that conclusion. But some have said no, there's actually another kind of law, which is law at-tamanni, which is the law of wishing for something, and this one does not come with a jawab.
Islam, I was what I got is like the wishful thinking that law tamanni is same as like jawab shart. Here is just the thing is that you don't find it like here also. The jawab in wishful tamanni, we have a thought, but it is not expressed. If I knew, so it's both are somewhat like same, right? It's almost same.
Yeah, it's so that's why grammarians like differed. So if let's take the second example, if only I knew Arabic, can I assume that there's a hidden jawab ashart here? Yes, if only I knew Arabic, I would be happy.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Yeah, so that's why some grammarians said no, law, there's only one kind of law, that is law shartiya. If the jawab is not mentioned, then it's mahduf. You can easily understand from the context. But then some say no, there's a difference. You have law shartiya and then you have law tamanni. I'm just telling you so that if you come across these concepts, you are familiar. Like it's not something new and your mind explodes and you're like, oh, there's only law shartiya. Why are they saying law tamanni? It's because grammarians also like disagreed in the matter as well. Right. All right. So we can say, okay, law is adatu shart or adatu tamanni, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter as long as you understand the concepts behind them. And then lam, what is lam? Lam is harf nafi, jazim. It makes the mudari' majzoom. And then you have yakun, which is a fi'al mudari', in this case, fi'al naqis. And it's going to be treated like a jumla ismiya, obviously. So yakun is majzoom because of lam. And then you have the ism of kana is the inside pronoun huwa. Wasfan is the khabar of kana, of yakun in this case. And then thabitan is the sifa of wasfan. And fihim is muta'alliq bil khabar. Right? Or muta'alliq bi wasfan, either way. Yeah. And of course, if you say law is adatu shart, you would say the jawab here is mahdoof. And that would be the end of that i'rab. Alright. And then he goes on to say وأنهم, so ولو لم يكن وصفا ثابتا فيهم, even if the istighfar was not a permanent attribute in them. And also that وأنه لا يهلكهم إلا إذا كان الظلم وصفا ثابتا فيهم. So أنه, again, أن and its اسم مبتدأ, whatever comes after it is going to be a خبر, and whatever follows is a جملة فعلية. لا is حرف of negation, حرف نفي. لا يهلكهم, so يهلك, this is a فعل مضارع, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو, and then here you have لا إلا. Okay, so لا إلا, kind of structure that template, like لا إله إلا الله, or of course it's not followed by a جملة اسمية. Here it's followed by a جملة فعلية, so it's slightly different. And then so إلا, what is إلا? إلا is أداة استثناء. It means it's a tool of exception. It makes an exception. So if I say ما هو إلا رجل, he is nothing but a man, what am I actually saying? I'm saying he's a man. Or yeah, so that is the exception. لا يهلكم إلا إذا كان, he does not destroy them except if oppression is a permanent attribute in them, right? So إذا, what is إذا? إذا is also أداة الشرط, and it is also للاستقبال. You will see that in some of the books they would say this is أداة الشرط للاستقبال. It's for the future. What does that mean? It means it pushes the meaning to the future. We've covered this a million times with Ustad. إذا pushes the meaning to the future. How that is captured in Arabic books, you would see they will say للاستقبال, for the future, right? And it is also considered mudaf, special mudaf. Okay, so you would see in some books they would say whatever comes after it is going to be fi mahalli jar mudafun ilay. You would see something like that as well. So it's good to understand the different nuances of either in case you come across them. Okay, what is this dhamma doing here? All right. So إذا we've said is adatu shart, and therefore whatever comes after it is going to be our shart part. كان الظلم, or it's going to be a mudaf ilay, and then inside that mudaf ilay of إذا you have كان, which is again فعل ناقص. The فاعل is الظلم. Of course, it's the inside pronoun هو مستتر, but we look outside to see if there's an outside doer, and we see الظلم here. So we're talking about oppression. If oppression was what? وصفا ثابتا. So وصفا is our خبر, and of course ثابتا is the sifa of that. فيهم, we've already covered this. متعلق بالخبر. Okay, and that is the مضاف إليه of إذا. That whole part, مضاف إليه of إذا. And if you look at إذا as, again, if you look at إذا as شرطية, what would you say for the جواب الشرط? You would say the جواب الشرط is محذوف because it's understood. It's basically what came before it. إذا كان الظلم وصفا ثابتا فيهم أهلكهم. He would destroy them. So that's kind of like what is being meant there. All right? Okay. What's the status of the shibul jumla, the إذا? It's going to be let me think. It's gonna be mansub في محل نسب because it's مستثنى. Right? Or مفعول فيه. Let me think. مفعول فيه, because you're looking at it as a special مضاف ظرف. Yeah. Yeah, it could be. So whenever you have a negation, a negative sentence, and the mustathna minhu is mentioned, you have two options. It could either be whatever role it plays, or it could be mustathna minhu. So yeah, it could be مفعول فيه. Yeah, مسكينة. Yeah, that also works. So it could be مفعول فيه or it could be مستثنى منه. All right. And then he says فإنه جاء بالاستغفار بالصيغة الفعلية. So إنه, again, this is our مبتدا. Whatever comes after it is going to be our خبر. Inside our خبر is a جملة فعلية. جاء is our فعل, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو. And then بالاستغفار, of course, جاء بي. جاء comes with با. We've mentioned this so many times. So بالاستغفار is going to be our متعلق بالفعل جاء. بالاستغفار بالصيغة الفعلية. So again, this بالصيغة, this is the متعلق بالفعل number 2, and الفعلية is the صفة to الصيغة. Let's see here. كمستثنى منه come after إلا. No. مستثنى منه does not come after إلا. I don't think so. No. Did I say مستثنى منه? I meant مستثنى, sorry. مستثنى منه is the whom here. This is the مستثنى منه. And then whatever comes after the أداة الاستثناء is مستثنى. I'm sorry if I confused you there. Yeah, sometimes I speak faster than I think. Right.
Could you? I'm so sorry, but there is a little confusion for me here either. وَأَنَّهُ لَا يُهْلِكُهُمْ. Why we're talking about mustasna here? Because of illa?
Yes, because of إلا. إلا is أداة استثناء. It makes exception.
And minhu will come. It's minhu. मतलब mustasnas minhu will come after illa, right? Sister, not before illa.
Yes. So the structure of al-istithna is you have mustathna minhu. Why does it write like this? It's writing in opposite. Okay. So you have mustathna minhu followed by أداة الاستثناء, then followed by استثناء. To give you an English example of that, if I said the students came except Khalid. So the students, مستثنى منه, the thing that we are making an exception from, مستثنى منه, the exception is made from this part, which is the students, and then except is our أداة الاستثناء, and then Khalid is the مستثنى. Did I write استثناء? Oh my God, these words are so confusing. مستثنى, I meant مستثنى. مستثنى. That. Yes, the situation is استثناء.
Okay, sister.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. Yes,
Okay,
go on.
so how when we say la and illa situation there, so we saw the fail part, and then the following like here is the, so we put the status as yani the fail file, and then whatever comes from a full, right? We do it up like that.
This one مفعول? Sorry, I didn't understand.
يعني here la and illa situation here. So يفلكهم is the fail, hum is the مفعول به. So hum is the مستثنى منه. What we call مستثنى مستثنى منه.
مستثنى منهم. مستثنى منه, this one. Yeah.
Okay, so hum is the مستثنى منه, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we do the i'rab for إذا is مفعول فيه.
مفعول فيه, yes, because it's a ظرف. So there are two possibilities. You can look at it as مفعول فيه. Where did I do? Did I do a crash course on استثناء?
Where is mustasna here, Sister Navida?
مستثنى is, yes, إذا, and it's مضاف إليه. So this whole thing is the مستثنى. If we're looking at it as مستثنى, right? Or you can also call it مفعول فيه, like somebody suggested. It's also a way to do the i'rab of it, depending on how you look at it. Because this template, maybe let me just, do I share my notes with you, or it's gonna get confusing? Where is, I'll have to pull out my notes on al-istithna. But I don't know if, is there another question as I try to look for the notes? Oh, so somebody is saying you don't see there's no mustathna minhu. There is mustathna minhu. Mustathna minhu is them. Allah will not destroy them except if there's dulm in them, right? So there's an exception from them, right? Allah is pulling an exception from them, so they are the mustathna minhu. And what is the istithna? And sometimes the exception, there's something called munqati', either it's connected or not connected. So sometimes the mustathna minhu, sorry, the mustathna. Yeah, the mustathna is not connected to the mustathna minhum. Sometimes it's like that. For example, it's famous in the Quran. You have illa iblisa aba wastakbara. So وسجد الملائكة كلهم إلا إبليس. Iblis is not part of the malaika. Allah says all the angels prostrated. So let me write that down. All the angels prostrated except Iblis. Now, how can you say that Iblis, and this is why some people get confused and they're like, oh, Iblis must have been an angel then, because all the angels prostrated except Iblis, so Iblis must have been an angel. Kalla. This is the kind of exception where the exception is not connected to the mustathna minhu. Right? Allah is just saying there were angels, all of them prostrated, Iblis did not. It doesn't mean that Iblis is actually an angel. Right? So there's that kind of istithna as well.
Can I just say one thing? Then here all the angels would be the mustasna minhu, Sister.
Yes.
And prostrated is the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Iblis is the mustasna. No, it wouldn't be right.
Okay, so there are four things in istithna. I didn't want to introduce the fourth thing because it's let me open my notes, because I don't want to get
because
it
this
wrong.
exception would not, Iblis is not a part of the group, angels group, right? So this shouldn't be mustasna.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, as you said, like, because the Iblis is not the part of the creation of angels, right? He's different. It's different.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the mustasna cannot be the Iblis, right? There should be no. Is it possible that the
mustathna is Iblis? Yes, it is Iblis. Mustathna is Iblis.
Mustasna is.
Let me share my screen.
Okay.
I will. Hopefully, it will clarify something.
What our sister is really saying is that mustasna minhu is not the angels. The mustasna minhu is, because if you're taking a mustasna minhu, then you are taking Iblis as a portion of the angel, right? So he's not a portion of you.
That's what I'm explaining. There's something called munqati'. That's why I brought up that example to explain to you that when you have istithna, it doesn't always mean that the mustathna, the mustathna is a part of the mustathna minhu. That's not always the case.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So we are
Okay.
learning
Yeah.
something new, inshallah. Okay, great.
Okay, so what do I okay. So yeah, so you see there's something called connected and disconnected. So you can have it as connected, like angels. So you can say, for example, the angels prostrated, all of them except one. If I said except one, I mean one of the angels, right? So that's connected.
Mhm.
But in this case, Allah is saying the angels prostrated, all of them except Iblis. Iblis is not part of the angels. Iblis is a different species. For example, let me give you a silly example. All the donkeys ate grass except this goat. If I said that, is that sentence valid? Yani, did you understand the meaning?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
valid?
yes, yes. Yeah,
Exactly.
it could be. It could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that all these donkeys ate grass except this goat.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this goat is part of the donkeys. I'm just saying I have a bunch of donkeys and a goat in front of me, and all these donkeys, they ate grass, but this stupid goat did not, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
mustasna
so I
need not
could
to be
have,
always from. I'm so sorry. Mustasna
yes,
need not to be always from mustasna minhu.
exactly. Not necessarily. No. So it could be connected, it could be disconnected. It could be related, it could be unrelated. But it's a mustathna minhu regardless. All right?
Oh, subhanallah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is why some people argue, oh, Iblis is an angel. No, you don't understand Arabic grammar. If you understood Arabic grammar, you wouldn't say that, you know. So yeah. So that's why we are learning Arab, and so that we don't make such mistakes in the Quran where we see, oh, all the angels prostrated except Iblis, and we're like, this is proof that Iblis was a fallen angel. No, it is not. It is not.
Today, alhamdulillah, I'm getting surprised again and again. Subhanallah, your explanation was super before that. Now, just one, one grammatical rule. It has a quality to change everything, Sister Ram. Subhanallah, this one.
Exactly.
If you
Yeah,
don't
and you
understand,
see,
we're going to take the ayah differently, completely in a different version.
100%. 100%.
Okay, so just clarify one thing more. So it is essential that mustathna minhu will be always there,
No,
whether connected or disconnected.
no, not okay. So there are 4 parts. Let me see. Okay.
Let me share one thing before you explain it further. I think we did
Okay.
discuss this when we were doing chapter 1. Okay, so what I've written down with me is that when there is a positive sentence and we have a mustasna minhu, then we will put the mustasna, that the ism coming after illa, as a pure
Yes.
nasab. Okay.
Yes.
Then we have a negative sentence, and the mustasna minhu is also clearly mentioned over here. And in this case, you can put it as a nasab or a rafa. Both the options can be there.
A badal. It's going to be a badal.
Okay. Badal. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have a third situation where the mustasna minhu is not at all present over here. In that case, the ism that is coming after illa will be put the label on Arab on it, depending upon the function it is playing in the sentence. Did I write it
Yes.
correctly? Okay.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so now this thing that we are discussing at the moment, where we say that it is connected or disconnected, where do we put it, in the one or the second case?
It doesn't matter in any case.
In any case?
Yeah, so obviously the mustathna minhu has to be mentioned for it to be connected. Otherwise, you wouldn't know if it is connected or not connected if the mustathna minhu is not mentioned. So it's either going to be in the first one or the second one, where the mustathna minhu is actually mentioned.
So how do you differentiate between if there is a disconnect or there is no mustasna minhu at all?
So a disconnect has to do with the mustathna minhu being present.
No, but if it is
Right?
disconnect, it is not linked to it. Like, for example, we studied this example of malaika. It is not linked at all. So one can say there is no mustasna minhu. One can say yes, it is there, but it is disconnected.
Oh, okay. So yeah, in that case, you just have to use, I don't know, the context or I don't know, honestly. Yeah. I think
this is
practice
where
context.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We need to learn more, inshallah. With the process
exactly.
of time.
Yeah, it's like the example I gave of donkeys and goats. Like, could you say that there's no mustathna minhu there? Could you say that I mean unless you're taking it very technically that it has to be apart from it. But if you understand that there could be a disconnect, then you also understand that the mustathna minhu could be mentioned and there could be a disconnect, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now we are getting disconnected.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disconnect.
Jazakallah khair now preparing us.
But yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. But whenever you're thinking about disconnect, especially with mustathna, think of the ayah. All the angels prostrated except Iblis, and that will give you some idea, hopefully.
Okay, so where do we place ourselves? In the Iblis or the Malaika?
Hopefully the malaika. Yeah, hopefully we're doing all our salawat and our prayers. Yeah, may Allah make us among those who do sajda. Min as-sajideen. Ameen. Okay. So what we're gonna do is probably gonna finish this paragraph and see what time it will be then, because I know we spent quite a bit of time on istithna. And I know it's because we never covered the topic of al-istithna in Bayna, and I haven't also covered it myself. So because it's a new concept for all of us, it's a bit, it will take some learning and some revision to get it, inshallah, bit by bit. Anyway, okay. So so we had done بصيغة الفعلية. So we're going to do يستغفرون, of course. So this is going to be a badal. So, and we've covered this kind of structure before. The يستغفرون is the badal of بصيغة الفعلية. يعني الفعلية يستغفرون. Oh, عطف بيان maybe. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, we are all learning together. Okay. And then he says وجاء بالظلم. Again, جاء فعل ماضي. The فاعل is the instant pronoun هو. B is going to be a متعلق بالفعل. So جاء بالظلم. That's a pretty simple, straightforward. And then you have الصيغة الاسمية. So جاء Okay, why am I confused here? So,
No, I think I did proper Arab here, but I'm confused. Like when you get this kind of semicolons, then what should be the Arab of as-sighatul? I don't know whether I told it correct or not. I didn't write anything in fact here, so it couldn't be kasra, right?
I think this semicolon is a misprint.
It's a misprint,
is it yeah, it's one sentence.
Let me open the original one. I have no idea what's happening there.
But it is following the exact structure of the sentence that comes before.
So Samia, what I told the Arab, I don't remember exactly because I haven't written anything in my script in my papers.
But the semicolon, it's not there. It shouldn't be there.
Okay, let's try and find it. This is...
Or is it a disconnect, Mr. Saminu? Okay.
I don't know, honestly. Okay, we had covered this. We had covered this. ليهلك القرى ليعذبهم. Okay. وجاء بالظلم بالصيغة الاسمية. Yeah.
There is
I
no
was wondering what
semicolon.
is. Yeah, there is no semicolon and there's a ba. بالصيغة. وجاء بالظلم بالصيغة. Okay. Yeah, now that makes sense. Yeah. We would have
Does it
stayed there
follow?
for hours trying to figure out what to do with this صيغة.
Yeah, because it is just like the sentence coming before.
Yeah. Good catch. Yes. Yeah, there is. So بظلمي بالصيغة الاسمية. So we've done this بالصيغة الفعلية بالصيغة الاسمية. Again, another متعلق, and of course الاسمية is the صفة there. So this is our متعلق بالفعل number 2. And then you have ظالمون, again another بدل, just like we did يستغفرون. And then he says فانظر إلى رحمة الله. So انظر, again فعل أمر, فاعل أنت, إلى رحمة الله. إلى حرف جار, رحمتي اسم مجرور, رحمة again مضاف, and لفظ الجلالة مضاف إليه, and then together they would form our متعلق بالفعل of انظر, right? سبحانه وتعالى. So سبحانه is actually a مصدر. It's نائب مفعول مطلق. سبح سبحان, that would be a مفعول مطلق. سبحانه. وتعالى, we've done تعالى so many times. It's فعل ماضي. تعالى يتعالى. Then you have بخلقه. بخلقه, this is حرف جار and اسم مجرور, so this is our متعلق بالفعل again. So فانظر إلى رحمة الله بخلقه. Of course سبحانه وتعالى, it's going back to Allah there. And then بخلقه أو متعلق بالفعل number 2 here. Right? Questions? All right. So I think that's a good point to end, unless there are other questions or clarifications, or even if it's not part of this, before we end. Should it be متعلق to مصدر رحمة? Let me think. فانظر إلى رحمة الله. Yeah, it is متعلق to مصدر this رحمة. فانظر إلى رحمة الله بخلقه. رحمة الله بخلقه. Yeah, so this is متعلق برحمة. Actually, yes. Good catch. There. Thank you for that.
So,
Mhm.
we do lion illa. It's like mile illa.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the same way around, like we do mile illa. So the same we do the same way around for lion illa as well.
If it's a jumla ismiya, yes.
Okay, if it's a jumla ismiya, okay. Not here.
Here you can't.
Like, okay. Yes.
I mean, maybe. Let's see.
Why not? I'm asking why not. It's a fail.
يهلكهم إذا كان ظلم وصف. Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
why I'm
remove
thinking about
the
la
la
and illa,
illa. And that's where we got the
then
maf'ul fihi, basically.
yeah, that's why I'm thinking and I'm completely confusing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khairan.
Yeah. I mean, normally that rule applies if the mustathna minhu is not mentioned, right? That works. Sorry, yeah, if the mustathna minhu is not mentioned. So then you can easily do the i'rab like that. ما جاء إلا خالد, for example. If I was to say ما جاء إلا خالد. To do the i'rab of this, I remove, because there's no mustathna minhu. I did not say ما جاء الطلاب. The students did not come except Talib, except Khalid, which in that case would mean that only Khalid came, right? But here, the mustathna minhu is completely not mentioned. There's no mustathna minhu. So what do? Remove the ma, remove the illa, ja'a Khalid, Khalid becomes the fa'il. Right? Okay. Great. Any other questions? Okay, great. Alhamdulillah. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah.
وعليكم السلام. May Allah keep you in Brahma, Naima, Afia, Wito, Ahlu.
آمين يا رب
Amin.
العالمين. جزاكم الله خير.